Oh my gosh, I am so excited. I am here today with Brandt. Brandt is a screenwriter, filmmaker, and multimedia artist based in New York. Having recently graduated from SUNY Purchase College with a BA in screenwriting and an associate's in film video production, they are currently seeking opportunities in screenwriting and film video production. Brant's work aims to create meaningful experiences for audiences through experimental filmmaking and storytelling, while also incorporating the reinvention of traditional techniques. Their focus lies in blending precision in technical craftsmanship with innovation and thoughtful narratives. Welcome, Brant. I'm so excited to chat with you today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to chat about all things storytelling. That is actually how you and I met. We are in a sort of writing networking group together, and then we are also in a specific writing group together.
Hmm.
And we did still finishing The Artist's Way together. So we have been able to spend a lot of quality digital time together. And it's just been so wonderful to get to hear about what you have going on, what you're working on, and sort of where you're looking to go. It's super exciting.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure getting to do the artist's way with you as well, and meeting through writers group has been so great.
Yeah, absolutely. And so today we're talking about storytelling, which is such an integral part, especially with your with the degrees that you have pursued with film video and with screenwriting. So I would love to hear a little bit about like if there was a specific moment in your life where you were like, wow, I really love storytelling and this is something that I want to get into, or sort of what got you into having this as be such an integral part of your life.
Yeah, I think the earliest memory I have is when I was probably 3 or 4 years old and I couldn't read yet, but I would take the children's books that I had lying around in my house and I would basically open them and like look at the pictures and kind of come up with my own story because I couldn't read the text. And it would be like something about snowmen, and then I would make it something completely different, totally unrelated. And I think that was kind of a telltale sign from a very early age that I was kind of destined to be a storyteller. And when I was like, I think in first grade, I remember making a lot of books, like picture books, with like computer paper and pens and highlighters and stuff. And it would just be like random stories. I did one that was a short biography on Abe Lincoln because I think we had just learned about him in school. Um, and yeah, I did a lot of that, and eventually as I got older, I started getting into creative writing, and I did some of that in school, and then extracurricular activities also gave me that opportunity to just kind of explore that world. And I really loved it. And I think as a kid, I wanted to be an author originally, and I really wanted to write books. Um, I'm pretty sure that's on like one of those giant about me like poster boards that you had to do in like elementary school where I wrote like author. It definitely says it on one of those. Um but yeah, and then I would just write books in my free time. I don't know that I actually ever finished any, but I always had ideas and I was always writing new things. And then I discovered film when I was, I think, around like 9 or 10 years old. I got to enroll in an after school program that basically taught filmmaking 101 to like fourth and fifth graders.
Oh, wow.
And I had never even thought of it before as something that I wanted to do, but that was really the beginning of everything for me. I was like, wow, like I didn't realize that I could make my stories come to life like in front of me. And I've always been such a visual thinker. I think of things so visually and vividly that finding that as a route for like telling my stories was just totally mind blowing. And yeah, I mean, the rest is history. And I made plenty of films when I was around that age. I used to do stop motion with like my dolls, and that was like something that I was super into for years and years. And then I thought I wanted to be an animator. Um, and then I got into like making short films, and then I went to a summer program in high school where I first discovered what experimental filmmaking was. And then I was like, oh, this is super awesome. This is exactly what I want to make. I want to make weird shit because it felt like such a um like I felt like I was seen by seeing the weird experimental art that people have made. It felt like um I'm trying to think of how to word this. It felt like uh I wasn't the only person that kind of wanted to tell stories in a non-traditional way. Um so that was also a super like big moment for me and just kind of in shaping who I am as a storyteller. Um and then yeah, and then I went to college and I wrote a feature for my thesis, which I'm currently reworking to be um, a little more fleshed out so that I can hopefully submit it to competitions and festivals. And I really want it to be produced one day. That's, I think, the ultimate goal with that. And yeah, that's where I am now.
That it's so incredible to hear that basically no matter what point you were at in your life, you were experimenting with whatever aspect or whatever way storytelling was accessible to you at that time. Like I think, specifically when you were younger and you're like, okay, I have the pictures, what story can I tell? And then it's okay, now I have the medium. I can read, I can write, I can speak, I can take my ideas and form them into thoughts. I can write the story and then going into, oh, now I can put the visuals to my story. So just to hear how that all sort of transpired throughout the entirety of your life it's so cool. It's very much when you read biographies about people who are like, I've always known that I wanted to do this. That's exactly what I was getting when you were saying that. And I would love to know, as you're going through all of these different ways of storytelling and all of these different mediums, was there ever like a specific style of story that you were interested in telling? Was there anything that you sort of did multiple iterations of, or just as much as you were exploring the different types, were you also exploring different stories to tell?
hmm it's an interesting question. I think I've always been someone that really enjoys slice of life and enjoys movies that are kind of just you following people throughout their day or week or year, whatever it is. In the sense that maybe nothing extreme happens, nothing like super crazy. But uh like so much so that it really does feel like you're just like hanging out with someone like while you're watching a movie. Um and I think that is probably how I would describe a lot of my writing. I've always kind of been like that in terms of how I tell stories. I don't really like I will say I'm a sucker for a good drama. So I guess maybe I take that back a little bit. I would say it's a combination of the two. I kind of flip-flop and there's not really a gray area. It's either like uh nothing really happens or like there's something super dramatic going on and I love writing scenes with like crazy arguments. I don't know why that's fun for me, but yeah, and I'm trying to think multiple iterations. Um, hmm.
It's okay if not. I just think like so I had a very similar, like I was always drawn to storytelling, but for me it was always like I always was trying to be like a Nancy Drew type of
Got
like,
it. Yeah.
what is the suspicious thing happening in my neighborhood that I can break through this newspaper that only I write, that only I read? Like that was sort
Yeah.
of my ongoing was like the murder mystery situation. So I was just curious if there was
Okay.
like if you had like created this character that you constantly followed or like if you had
Mm,
something like that, like a sort of running theme that went along with
yeah.
as you grew as a storyteller, was there a story that grew with you?
Okay. Yeah. I would definitely say so. I think I've going off of the sort of being interested in slice of life and writing a lot of those kinds of stories, I've always been someone who's loved writing coming of age stories. Like even when I was a child coming of age, I loved stories about kids my age who were dealing with the same stuff that I was dealing with. And I would write stories about that. And I would write stories about kids going through stuff that I didn't even go through, but maybe like my friends were going through at that time. Um, so I would definitely say that coming of age stories are very near and dear to my heart, and I can't seem to stop writing them. I don't know why that is, but I'm sure there's a an explanation for that. And I would honestly say that um, the main character in my senior thesis, which is the feature I'm rewriting currently, that character has been with me, I think, since I was 16.
Wow.
Um, so before it was even a script, this character was kind of just a seed of an idea that I had like rolling around in my brain. And I think she was included in like a couple short stories and like scribbles basically of like random lines of dialogue or um, just kind of snippets of scenes, like ideas that I would come up with and kind of write down on paper, but never got fully fleshed out until I wrote my feature. That's the one character that comes to mind that's been with me for forever, and of course, she's the main character of a coming of age story.
It's so fun how that happens too, is like we kind of start to realize like it's almost like taking what we're experiencing and putting it outside of ourselves as another angle, another lens, another way to understand what we're experiencing and
Yeah.
like in a bigger sense understand life.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um, and so I'm very curious since this has been such an important aspect of your life for basically the entirety of your life. Are there any like pop culture examples that stick out to you from any age that you felt like especially drawn to, or you were like, oh, this represents like what I want to do, who I
Hmm.
want to be, like this is it.
Ooh, that's a really good question. I would say I'm just gonna go back like the earliest memories I can think of because I think those are interesting and have a lot to dig into. The I would say one of the first movies I remember that really stuck with me was The Parent Trap. The 1998 version with Lindsay Lohan. I have not seen the original actually. But I remember how how badly I wanted to like be be like almost like a character in that movie. Like I wanted to like I don't know. Like I felt so drawn to that story and I kind of um I remember like wishing that uh I guess could go to summer camp with Lindsay Lohan. Like I wanted to be in that world if that makes sense. Like not necessarily the main character, but like I just wanted to be in that world because it was so like well done. Like it's such a good movie. It's one of I would say it's my number one comfort movie. Like anytime I need to like snuggle up and just watch something that makes me feel good, like I'll just watch The Parent Trap. Um, and another example, I guess, is I was really into the Backyardigans when I was little.
Mhm.
And that show I think shaped who I am as a person. Full stop. Um, just like the because I was always such an imaginative kid, always daydreaming, like always off in La La Land. Um, and the premise of Backyardigans is literally them playing pretend the entire time, and you go into their worlds that they create and they become real. Um, and I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. And I was like, I want to be their friends. I want this to be like my life. Like, I want to make my imagination come to uh fruition or reality, I guess. And that's kind of how I feel about making movies though, so that's sort of full circle. Um, but yeah.
That's so cool. And I mean this in the most complimentary way, so I hope this doesn't come off as not complimentary, but it sounds like you never lost your childhood wonder. And I think that that is something that happens to so many people is when we're young, we're like, this is so cool, and I love living in this imaginative world. And then almost like the realism of life gets in the way. And so to hear that you've been able to continue this like no, this like storytelling aspect of who I am, it's important to me, and I'm not going to let these other things, or like they can happen, I don't want to pretend like I'm rewriting your life story, but like I can maintain this sense no matter
Hmm.
like despite going like life moving on, like I cannot wrap my head. I cannot wrap my words around my thoughts. Continuing to grow up, experiencing more of the world has not diminished your ability to still want to express yourself creatively and to do it in this way that has brought you so much joy throughout the entirety of your life. And I think that that is something that is very undervalued. And I really commend you for having that. It's
Thank
something
you.
that like I know I look at people like you and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you were able to hold on to it as someone who kind of like let it go for a little while, and now I'm trying to like re-grasp at it. I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, I'm so glad that there are people that can.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know if that
thank
makes
you
sense, but
for that compliment. It's definitely a compliment for sure.
okay. It was absolutely meant to be a compliment. And so sort of continuing in this idea of like the dream world, want of a better term. What is your also, I'm sorry, my dog got triggered by the UPS guy.
All good.
Is there sort of a dream accomplishment for you in this realm of storytelling? Is there something that is like sort of your North Star? Like, I know you mentioned earlier having your screenplay be produced. Is that sort of what keeps you going? Is there something else? How do you want this to potentially play out?
Um, yeah, I mean, like I said, I really want to get my feature produced one day, and in whatever way I guess that I can. So maybe it doesn't end up, getting an Oscar, even though that's kind of the pipe dream, in all honesty. Um, I definitely want to be a successful screenwriter. I want to write for features. I want to write for television. Um, I would also really like to direct as well, and the filmmaker part of me is still very strong. So I don't like the idea of having to give my writing to someone else to direct. So I definitely am interested in being a director as well, and I would say that writer slash director is the ultimate goal. Um, there is still part of me that wants to write books, and I think that will be something that I will end up pursuing more later down the line.
I love that. It's like want to be Greta Gerwig for a little while, or your version of Greta. And then is it Gillian Flynn who has written both books and screenplays? I think she adapted her
I
books.
think so, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be super cool. I know
Wouldn't that be
sometimes they make books based on the movies also, which is kind of awesome.
yeah, that sort of the world is there and then
Hmm.
figuring out how to translate it.
Yeah.
It's so exciting. And I feel like such an insider being in your writing group. I feel like I get sort
Hmm.
of that like initial sneak peek and I can't wait.
Yeah. I'm super excited to see where it'll go despite despite my writing process being somewhat tumultuous. Um it's still very, very exciting.
You know, at the end of the day, if you are able to make time to write, that's all we can ask for.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So, are there any final words that you would share for someone who they're listening to this and they're like, this experience, it sounds exactly like what my childhood was. And, you know, I see Brant as someone they're walking a path that I want to follow. Do you have any words of advice for someone who might be in that position?
Um, I think uh this is sort of echoing what Kristen from Tepper Talks says at the end of every email I get from Substack, which is stay Delulu with a plan. Um, and I very much agree with that statement. I think believing in yourself, that sounds like a TJ Maxx pillow. Um, but believing in yourself and believing that you really can like make your dreams a reality, and maybe it's not the, picture perfect reality that we all want, but you can and should pursue whatever it is that you're passionate about, um, even if it's something that you don't think you can accomplish. You'll never know unless you try. And not giving up is, I think, incredibly rewarding in the end. Um, I hope that makes sense. I kind of like, I have a lot I could say about that, but I'm trying to condense it.
No, it makes a ton of sense and it's very it makes a lot of sense. It's like, you know, you want to it's like uh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Like why not? You know,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
if this is something that you think about it all the time, if it's something that really lights your fire, why not go for it?
Exactly. Yeah, life is too short. It's really way too short. You might as well try.
It really, really is. Oh my gosh, this has been so fun, so motivating. I love hearing when people talk about what they're passionate about. It it just makes me want to go out and do what I'm passionate about, which is writing. So this was especially motivating. But yeah, thank you so much. I so appreciate you being willing to share. And
Yeah, of course.
are you ready for the baker's dozen?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So, baker's dozen. I love this. So, it's 13 quick question and answers for the audience to get to know you a little bit better. Okay.
Awesome.
Yay. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Night owl, 100%.
Appetizer or dessert?
Dessert, always dessert.
What is the best thing that you ate this week?
Ooh. Oh no. Oh, I gotta think. Oh, I had a really good vaguely French. It was called a French style burger,
Ooh.
and it was delicious.
Ooh, what made it French style?
I don't know, actually. It had like pickled onions on it and like a spicy mustard. Um and then it came with like truffle fries.
Oh, I mean, that
Yeah,
sounds incredible.
it was really good.
Okay, now I want a burger. Who would play you in a movie about your life?
Ooh. Oh my gosh. I think someone asked me this before in a class maybe, and I think I'm just gonna stick with that answer. But I said Kaylee Spaney, who plays she played Priscilla Presley in the Priscilla movie, and she was in like a couple
Ooh,
other things. But people think that she looks like me, and so now I
okay.
can't get that out of my head. So I'll say her.
Okay, I see like young Demi Moore. Like
Okay.
that's what I see. When she had her hair short, I'm thinking I
Mm,
just recently saw, I think was it Vogue where she like debuted that she was pregnant, but like not that version, but like that era of
mm,
like young Demi Moore. I could totally see that.
cool. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. What? It's also the energy too, the aura.
Wow, that's such a big compliment. Thank you. I love Demi Moore.
What advice would you give your 10-year-old self?
Um, I would say stop comparing yourself to other people because you never know what other people are going through or dealing with.
That's good advice. What is your current coffee order?
Iced mocha with oat milk.
Mm. Oh,
A
so good.
classic.
Do you have a go-to karaoke song?
Mm, I would say probably Linger by the Cranberries.
Oh,
I
yes.
never get sick of that song.
Okay, keeping with the music theme, is there a song that you would want to hear on your deathbed?
Mm, probably A Day in the Life by the Beatles.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I think that's the one I would choose.
that's a good one. Do you have a good habit?
Hmm.
Or let me rephrase, what are one of your good habits? Because I know you have at least one.
Um, good habit. Hmm. Oh, if I notice that I haven't been outside, I have to go. I will like literally force myself to go outside because I cannot handle the idea of me being indoors all day. So if that's like a nature walk or like a brief stroll around my neighborhood, it doesn't matter if I just have to get my booty outside.
Your daily fresh air.
Yes.
Do you have a celebrity crush?
Mm, I feel like I have so many, so I'm like really struggling to think of one.
I spoke to someone recently who gave me like, I think she gave me eight. So,
um, honestly, I'm just gonna say, I mean, I think it's a celebrity crush in the sense that like I want to be her so bad, so I'm just gonna say Greta Gerwig.
yeah, yeah, same.
She's awesome.
She is. What would be the title of your autobiography?
Um, ooh, oh my gosh. Hmm. I would say probably mm, maybe like through my mind's eye or something like that. Something with the word mind in it, I feel
Ooh.
like would be on brand for me.
I like that you have a word and a vision, but not necessarily tied to anything. You're leaving room for fluidity.
Yes.
I like that. What is the last thing that you Googled?
Ooh, okay, let me see. It's a good question. Um, the last thing I Googled was how to add an account on Discord.
I love when it's a how-to. Those are like all of my
It's
Googles.
usually either a how-to or like a random actor or someone that someone mentions and I don't know who they are.
Yeah, like who was the person in this thing?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, and question number 13. Is there something you wish you could experience again for the first time?
Mm. I wish I could experience going to Belfast, Northern Ireland for the first time. I wish I could
Ooh,
experience doing that again for the first time.
ooh, I love that. I don't think I've been, so I'll have to make a trip.
It's awesome. So cool.
Oh, yay! This has been so fun. Thank you so much for your time today and for
Yeah,
being willing
absolutely.
to answer the questions.
Of course. It was so much fun. Thank you so much for having
Yay.
me.
Oh, I'm so glad. How can people connect with you if they want to learn a little bit more about you, maybe get in touch with some of your writing? Where are you around online?
Yeah, I am on Substack at Brant Writes, and I'm also on Instagram with the same username.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time and for chatting with us about storytelling. I know I'm leaving this call very inspired to work on my next big thing, and just I can't wait to see what you create.
Thank you so much.